Yeah, we are live. Let's turn off orientation lock, shall we? Oh, that was off. Boom. Okay. It says orientation lock is on, which it shouldn't be. Go. Go. This is a little wonky, but we're gonna make it work because we're gonna do something special.
Yeah.
Yep. I can tell you what we're gonna do, and it's called we're gonna get snuggle fresh here. Yes, everybody's gonna be like, why is this taking place this way? I'll tell you why. Because we're awesome. That's why.
Because we're awesome.
True story. And we're gonna do vertical video today.
Yeah.
Because streaming from this, yeah, I'm gonna stack some fat cash under there. And how about that?
Yeah, I can throw that.
Throw.
Oh, the notebook might fit.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then this will, well. You know what? We can do it sideways because I'm gonna download it and re-upload it later anyway. So there we go. So, suck it, YouTube. I don't want to rotate it back. Okay, apparently we have to do it that way because YouTube's not playing along today. I love when technology doesn't play along, and by love I mean I don't like it.
Technology is great.
There it is. Look at it. We're snuggly. We're snuggly fresh. Hi, friends. Okay, so we're live. If you're commenting on Facebook, can't see it because we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube live. Welcome to this episode of Meet the Comic, coming live from Rupert's Brewhouse in Kalamazoo, Michigan, with Derek Lee Feltner, none other than Derek Lee Feltner, and his guitar and his Derek Lee Feltner box. Zoom in; it's worth seeing. So, Derek, thanks for being on the show, dude. Good to see you, man.
Likewise.
Really appreciate you being here. So, you guys may have noticed that we're vertical video today. I'd like to pretend it's because I know you're watching this on your mobile phone, but it's actually because YouTube, or the new iOS 11 beta, has orientation lock stuck on YouTube.
I know all about this.
It's stupid. But this is a mix of Blacker the Berry Sour and Deep Cider Apple Cider. So good. That's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. So, just for those of you that have never watched, what I do is every couple of weeks I meet with a local comic here in West Michigan to learn a little about them, their brand of comedy, what got them started, all that fun stuff. So you get the joy of watching that, whether you watch it live or watch it later. You get to learn a little about Derek. So Derek Lee Feltner.
Yes.
It's kind of special that we're doing this at Rupert's because this is like an anniversary of yours,
yes.
Yeah? So why don't you tell everybody a little about that?
Yeah, exactly 1 year ago to the day, I performed stand-up comedy for the first time on that stage.
That stage?
Yes.
This one. Do Not Disturb also was allowing disturbance. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Do Not Disturb. We better reshare this. Just to make sure. And we'll say live still, just in case.
Like a cat.
Right. Still live. Boom. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. Sorry about that. Okay. So a year ago, you're on this stage.
Yes.
So what in God's name made you a year ago go, hey, I think it'd be a great idea to go get on stage in front of a bunch of strangers and do comedy?
I have been talking about doing it for many years. I knew a lot of the comedians beforehand, and I had always talked about how cool it would be to do that.
Had you been coming out watching it locally here in Kalamazoo for a while?
As much as I could, yeah. I saw like Adam West and Sonny Pandit and Bob Fredericks. Like those are the guys I saw for the longest time. And I always talked to those guys after their sets when I could. And it always looked fun. And I always kept putting it off. And then I asked Adam West what would be the easiest way to start doing comedy, and he said get a hold of Nate Tilka, who does the Sunday show at Rupert's. And I messaged Nate, and I said I'd like to perform. It's my first time, and he gave me the date, and I put it in my phone, and I had to commit to doing it.
So, out of curiosity, do you know what the reason was that Rupert's was the best first place to do it, or was there something behind it, or was this just kind of like the show that accepted new?
It was Adam West had referred me to this show. He said for my first show I should go here, and I said okay. I was completely blind to it, so I figured that'd be a good idea. And Nate put me on last because I didn't know that was a thing, that new comedians got to go on last.
I didn't either.
And I had prepared about 6 minutes, or I think maybe. And Nate's like, "Oh, well, I'm giving you 10." I'm like, I have a solid 6. And then I did my set, and it was a lot of fun. Very nerve-wracking. Wearing the same shirt I wore last year.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Legalized sleaze. So, you mentioned something that probably a lot of folks don't know, and I didn't know until I got all excited about it and then realized why. Let's talk about why new people go last.
Yeah. So I would like to believe that they're put on last because they're a diamond in the rough, and everyone knows that.
That's exactly why, probably.
What I would not say is that they're put on last is in no way are they gonna affect whether or not the crowd leaves.
I've seen so many times where someone will, come from out of town, they'll be on a show, and then all of a sudden, a host will be like, "Whoa, I've never seen so many people get walked in the first 10 minutes." So going on last when you're new, realistically is usually because if they don't know if you're good or not, or whatever, it's keep people from leaving before the good comics come on.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, and I was totally fine with that because I was watching everyone before me like, oh, I am glad that I am not in the middle of that because I would have probably ruined the night.
I was so naive when I did Rupert's because it was only like probably the 4th show I ever did or 3rd, and I was like, hey, Nate was like, do you want to do Rupert's? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And the poster comes out and it's like featuring me
with your face on.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like, oh man, I get to do a show. Like, I didn't realize that they thought I was that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I literally was like, I was so geeked. I was like, Cheryl was like, look, I'm actually featured. I'm like, because when you go to like a big show, right, the headliner's last. And I was like, holy crap, I'm headlining this show.
Front of the line.
That's because I suck. Or no, because I'm not the experienced one.
My favorite thing is after my first set, I didn't know any of this, but I wore shorts.
Yes.
Which I again didn't know that was a bad thing to do, and I remember asking, I think it was Nate or Bob Fredericks who were there. I was like, so like any words of wisdom? They're like, yeah, don't wear shorts. I was like, got it. It was kind of warm, but I figured. They're like, yeah, just don't do that. And I have never wore shorts since.
I have multiple times and been yelled at. And by yelled at, like, I think Alt once introduced me. Jason Alt's hosted Wednesday nights at Harvey's. I think one time he made it like a reference, like, or no, it wasn't Alt, because I've only done Harvey's once. It was, I don't know, it was one of them, but it was like, by now he should know not to wear shorts and sandals. I was like, Jesus.
Were you wearing sandals too?
Oh yeah, full on. Oh, it was actually Ashley's roast. It was a roast.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, it's a roast, right? So you can, for God's sakes, Nolan was dressed in a sombrero and fake mustache. Thought shorts wouldn't be so bad, but no.
You were wrong.
I was very wrong. Also, the first bit of advice I got when I did it at Harvey's, I asked Jason, I was like, hey, what could I tune? I'm always like, what could I tune up? He goes, it was kind of hacky. You can work on getting funnier. I was like, okay, thank you. And I tell this because it leads me to a question I always like to ask, because comedy looks so effortless when it's done well. Your style of comedy, which I'll have you elaborate on in a minute, it's great. And it seems so naturally funny to me to watch. But getting on stage, it's scary as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got anywhere from maybe 20 to 70 strangers staring at you that you don't know. So tell me about, like, the worst time you ever just bombed. Have you bombed yet? And if so, what was the worst time you ever bombed? And bombing is when you just literally shit the bed.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So the first show I did here was awesome. And then Jason Alt, who hosts Wednesday night, was here. And I talked to him briefly after my set, and he was like, "Yeah, I host Wednesday. You should come by." I was like, "Oh my god, yes, that'd be great." So my second show, I did the exact same set I did on Sunday, and I didn't know that, like, as a comedian, you should have more than that, and it was just crickets the whole time, and I just kept trying to get through it, and then afterwards, you know, Jason was like, "Hey, you know, keep working at it. You'll get there." I'm like, okay, whatever. So that was like the official bomb. It was my second show. But my favorite one that I really bombed at, I was booed for almost my entire set at a show.
Why? How did you get booed? Like, why were you booed at a show?
The show that I did was like a guy's birthday party and a comedy show, and I think there was miscommunication leading up to the show, because at some point, I think it just turned into, let's have a birthday party, and then there'll be comedians performing. And so a lot of the people, his friends showed up. They weren't there for, I don't think, anything but a party. So I got up there and did my normal setup where I had to get all my stuff set up the way I like it. And then I started doing my jokes, and a guy in the audience started booing and then screaming, "Get off the stage."
Oh, Jesus.
So I was like, you know, I'm just going to commit to making the rest of this go as far down as I can.
Oh, God.
And it was actually a lot of fun. The host after the show came up and he's like, "Hey man, I am really sorry." I'm like, "About what? That was awesome. I loved every second of that." It was a lot of fun. Because to me, I love the fact that for like 6 minutes or 10 minutes or however long they give you, they're giving us a microphone and time to do whatever we want. And it's our choice to do what we want to do in that time. So I'm not trying to be like the guy that's like, I don't care if people laugh at me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think it's really cool that we're given an opportunity to perform.
Right on.
We should do that. And you know, if there's people in the audience that don't like it, that's totally fine. You're allowed your opinion, and if there's someone who likes it, cool. If not, that shouldn't deter anyone from getting up there over and over again.
So that's a big thing, right? A lot of people, like, you know, their friends go, "Well, you're funny. You're a funny guy, Derek. You should do comedy," right? And I've seen folks get up and like, "Oh, my friends all say I'm funny, so I'm doing this stand-up. I'm trying this tonight," and it's nerve-wracking. So before we shift to the good parts of comedy, what advice? Somebody goes, "Hey, you know, I've gone out, I've seen some of these open mics, or I watch a lot of comedy and I love it." What advice would you give them if they're like, "Hey, you know, I'm thinking maybe I want to try it, but I'm nervous, I'm scared"? What would you say?
A piece of advice that I've been given in passing by a lot of people is just talk about and write about what you know, because I feel like that even if at first it's not funny, if you're writing about things and talking about things that you know about personally, the jokes will come. But if you're like trying to talk about things that you wouldn't, like, I know nothing about auto mechanics, so I would not try to go out and do a whole set about being a mechanic.
Right, makes sense.
You know, that's the only thing I would say. Just you know, like, if I know a few people who have had kids, and it's hilarious how crazy their life is. And I told them, like, if you're going to do comedy, talk about that, because there'll be a handful of people in the audience that can relate. And the best part is, if you're talking about things that you know about, there's no way you'll ever get hung up trying to remember how to say it the right way, because you've experienced it.
That makes sense.
You know.
So let's talking about the things you know, because you've got a unique brand of comedy. Like your set. I just next time I see you perform, I just need to freaking live stream it, because I can't. What prompted you? Because you have a lot of props, right? And I've seen people go up with props and just it's horrible. And I shouldn't say, like, I'm not knocking them, but like the audience response is horrible, right? The audience sometimes just they don't get into it. I watched you at Blue Dolphin, and I always love watching you, but I don't know that you said 20 words, and no one could stop laughing during the whole set. So what prompted you to involve all the props and everything else? Like what was it that you go, you know what, I think doing these props and doing this kind of stuff is the way to go?
It just goes back to, I like the idea of someone giving me a space of time to fill, and and I just try to fill it with whatever I'm thinking about. So I mean, there are jokes that I tell that have a beginning, a middle, and a punchline, and then there's other stuff I just do that involves like the tape recorder and the guitar and
Yes.
the jacket. But no, a lot of that just came from stuff I had seen in other like mediums. Like I've seen bands do stuff like this, and I always thought that was kind of funny if you put that in a different element.
Hey, that's pretty awesome. Let's talk about, speaking of awesome, let's talk about the best show you've ever had. Like, what is there? Is there a show that you go, man, there was this one show where everything just felt right and I slayed it? Like, what? Talk about that.
Yeah.
When's the best one ever?
So, for me, like, I went through some pretty heavy things earlier this year with my wife and I. Really didn't go out doing comedy for months. And a friend of mine, Kyle, in Indiana, he had told me that he was doing a show, and he just kind of casually said, hey, why don't you ask if you can be on the show and you can come down, or just come down and watch me, or maybe you can get on it. And I was like, okay. So I asked if I could be on the show, and the guy hosting it said, sure, Kyle vouches for you. So I went down to the show in South Bend, Indiana at the Drop, and I had never been there, which people I knew who had said it was really good. Genesis Easton was the host that night, so hey. I just remember watching all the comics were great. There was another guy with a guitar. I was a little worried about that. Sometimes I'm the only guitar guy. But I went up there, and literally from like the moment I started till the moment I ended, it was just laugh after laugh after laugh. And after everything we had been through, it felt really good to, like, for at least one night to go out, and both of us, and like we forgot about all the shitty things that had happened. It was like, yeah, this is cool. Like this feels right.
Nice.
And then like it was like another month before I actually did comedy again. But like that show, I feel like we're, here we are, 4.5 months later. Had that show not went good, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I probably wouldn't be trying to do comedy.
I'm glad it went well, because I love watching you perform, man. So let's talk about comics, because it's funny when I hear like comedians talk about like the comics they like, things like that. Is there in your decision, like, hey, I want to give comedy a try? Is there like a comedian or two that you're like, man, these are my influences, or these are my favorites that really kind of inspired me? Who stands out to you, or who were those?
Well, so like growing up, I used to I would watch a lot of comedy with my mom. She was a big Robin Williams fan and George Carlin, and I remember like watching their comedy specials on HBO like late at night, which was crazy because I was like a little kid watching George Carlin and Robin Williams and the language they used. And then my dad was more of a conservative. I remember we were watching George Carlin. It was like 10 o'clock at night. He had already went to sleep. My mom and I are like belly over laughing hysterically, and he came out from the back bedroom and was like, you guys are still awake? Like, could you at least try to be quiet? And we're like, no, this is hilarious. So that was like who I first saw, but if anyone sees me, it's pretty clear who some of my bigger influences are. Like Andy Kaufman is a big one for me. Zach Galifianakis is a big one.
He's great.
I like Dimitri Martin. I mean, those are like my, as far as like influence-wise, like I would definitely say I've pulled from that area. But I mean, I like anything that's just kind of like some of the best. I mean this from the heart. Some of my favorite sets from the local comedians have been nights where they have been trying new stuff, and they don't even know where it's going. Like, those are my favorite nights, when someone locally is like, I'm going to do a new joke that no one's ever heard before, and it kind of lands. I love that, because you can see it. It's like the beginning of something.
Something awesome.
So that's been some of my favorite things. There was a show at Harvey's I did. Casey Curran did like a weird thing where he like took his shirt off and he had like a Deadpool thing on.
Yes.
And like no one really knew where it was going, and I was just smiling the whole time because it was awesome.
Yeah, I've seen him draw something out of his stomach before.
That's great.
I'm like, what is happening?
It's amazing.
So here's something that I've noticed in the attempts to try and do stand-up, I always feel like if I've said or done something, even if it was funny, doing it again is like not funny to me. So how does someone hone and refine their skills without losing it? Because like the first time you do, I'll give an example. First time I did a joke at Louis about, it was about butt sex.
Yeah. Usually always hilarious.
I was laughing because I couldn't believe I was saying this as I looked at this older couple, and then I looked and I'm like, oh my god, I'm saying the raunchiest thing to like probably the nicest people, who turned out to be Dale Torrey's parents, one of the hosts of Papa Pete's, and I was like, oh god, these nice people, and I'm saying something so vulgar, which then the immaturity in me made me laugh harder, and the audience was into it and it was great. When I went to try and recreate it, it wasn't as funny to me. So it wasn't as funny, like the delivery wasn't good. How do you keep it fresh, even utilizing the same content? You might have to speak louder because there's some sweet rock and roll.
Zeppelin's on, so.
So how do you keep it? How do you keep it funny when you've done that joke before, you've done that bit before? How do you still deliver it in a way that's funny to everybody?
I mean, for me, I try not to think about it. Everything I write, I have like a point A to point B destination type of thing, and then everything in the middle I think should be kind of open for interpretation. Like the first set I did, like I spent weeks leading up to that show, like meticulously practicing every syllable and every word. Like I was like, I memorized it like it was a freaking speech, and I was like,
nice.
There's no way this is gonna go bad, and it didn't. Like I was able to follow my beats, and then when I kept trying to do that, a couple shows, you get a couple hecklers, or you just get someone who laughs early, and it can throw you off. So I decided that to keep that same vibe, I'll just maybe pace it slightly different, or if I don't think it's going to be working, I'll take it out for a few weeks. I've been trying to write new material like every week now.
Yeah.
Which has been fun and difficult and everything. I don't know, I guess like, I think if you're confident in what you're saying, and like it goes back to what I was saying, if you're talking about what you know, or you're talking about like things that are you,
yeah,
then you could probably do that same joke over and over again, because it's just a part of, it's an extension of who you already are.
Well, you said something that I think is pretty awesome there, and it leads me to a question. Because you said you're writing every week. That's a lot of work to put into a hobby.
Yeah.
So is this something that you're like? Do you have everybody's answers are different, right? But is this something you desire to make into a career, or is this an outlet, for you that's just a fun outlet that you like working on? Or are you like hoping for your one day Derek Lee Feltner Netflix special? I made more than Amy Schumer.
That'd be a good title.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
If you call it I Made More Than Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
The Google hits alone would just make it worth it, because you'd get so.
That would be so awesome.
No, I can't say that I'm trying to make this a career, and it's not because I'm not confident in my work or anything like that. Like I would say right now, if I'm able to perform a handful of times a month, whether it be in town or out of town slightly, that'll make me happy.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, like obviously it'd be great to do big shows. I don't think I'm there at all yet. So
talk about, speaking of big shows, I've tried to invite people out, and I've brought some folks out to comedy that were like me when I discovered it in Kalamazoo, and I was like, holy crap, there's comedy. Like I remember there was a comedy club in the entertainment district. I don't even know if that thing's open anymore. But I never went, like, because I remember back then going, I'd like to go, but if it's not busy, like, I don't want them to seat me up front.
Yeah.
And I don't want a comedian, like, jabbing at me all night and, like, me, like, oh.
Yeah.
So I've actually had a couple friends where I've been like, hey, do you want to go watch comedy? And they're like, oh, no way, man. I don't want to get picked on by the comedian. Yeah. So there's two sides of it where I've seen people do that, or I've been out and I've had friends and, like, I've seen them and they'll, like, a comic tells a joke and then they say, I'm like, shut the hell up. Like, they're not asking you to participate.
It's not rhetorical.
Yeah. It is. It's like don't respond.
Yeah.
So here's the questions. People that are worried, like if they come out to a show, the comedian's gonna pick on them. Does that I mean, I haven't really even seen that happen unless they started to heckle. Is that something that you've seen that a lot, really?
I mean, I haven't really seen any innocent bystanders be harmed by a comedian.
Good. Don't be a chicken shit.
Now, if you're a heckler or a dick, there are some comedians who you don't want to do that to because they will rip you to shreds.
How do you handle hecklers? That's the big one. If somebody heckles, they talk crap, they interrupt your set. What do you do?
I like to use dead air. That's one of my favorite things. Just not say anything. Just stop the joke, and it's just going to be silent. Until whenever I start again.
Nice. So I want to ask you something, which is always the fun question to see how everyone responds. And I ask everybody this. There's some great women here in Kalamazoo that are hilarious. There are so few compared to the amount of guys.
Yeah.
So 2 questions. Do girls suck at comedy? And if not, why the ratio? Why the gap from women to men? In your opinion. Obviously his opinion. This is not scientific fact.
Yeah.
There's stars in the ceiling. There's no room for science.
No. Women do not suck at comedy.
Good. Amy Schumer's one of my favorites, even though everyone who's a comedian seems to hate her locally. I love her.
Yeah.
They hate her because she steals jokes, supposedly.
You know,
what's new?
How about like 15 years ago when she was like a nobody? I'm sure there was like a handful of people who were like, this is the coolest comedian ever. Anything that's really cool that only a handful of people know about is only cool until everyone knows about it. And then those people who really liked it start to not like it anymore. Green Day is a great example of that.
True story.
I guarantee you there's a lot of people who love Green Day, and then
Dookie was like the best album to me.
And then Dookie came out, and those original fans were like, "Oh, I don't like Green Day anymore.
Yes.
Who's the new drummer?" And then American Idiot came out when they blew up again, and everyone's like, "Oh, Green Day, they suck now." No, they don't suck. Just more people latched onto something that was entertaining.
That's like everyone who was saying how bad Linkin Park sucks, and then when the guy kills himself, then everybody's like,
coming out of the woodwork.
"Whoa, you can't talk bad about Linkin Park." It's like, last week you were just saying they were the worst band in the history of the world.
But it's different now.
It's different now that you did that. Nope, their music didn't change.
No.
Just won't be in any new albums. So why do you think there are so few women in comparison to men, at least in West, like local comedy? Is there any reason you see?
I guess like maybe like a simple answer would just be, it could be like the same thing with why not everyone tries comedy. It could just be like either they don't want to try it yet, or they're not ready, or maybe they don't know the outlet to go to get on stage, or...
Alt basically said most of you guys are dicks. No, that's not exactly what he said. I'm paraphrasing.
I mean,
I said there's a lot of misogyny. Like what the opinion he shared was there is or was a lot of like misogynistic behavior that sometimes is a turnoff to some women.
I mean, there's a lot.
I haven't really seen it, but the women that I've met in the scene here are also like pretty just open. So maybe
I would say that sadly there are probably a lot of douches that either go to shows or engage in shows. Again, I haven't met any, but I mean, in a way, I mean, comedy kind of paints itself as like a boys' club.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I think for any great female comedian, there's like this weird thing that happens where if she's really funny, then that's less than if she wasn't, because guys are dicks, you know, and usually are threatened by someone who's better at something than they are. I wish shows would just be anyone and everyone performing, male, female, whatever, and it would come down to whether or not the jokes are good, not whether or not you have a penis or a vagina.
Right, or whether or not your buddies came and laughed. Like so here's the other tough thing, right? So it's pretty exciting when the room is full. I love it, right? So even when somebody's getting up their first or second time and all the jokes aren't maybe hitting hard, when there's a full room, it's just so amazing to be part of, and even as an audience member, it's so amazing experience because a little bit of laughter, all of a sudden it's contagious, right? So if you were to say to folks that we share this with on Facebook later too, or the one person live on YouTube watching it, it's probably your wife. If you were to say to people that are like consider, you know, like maybe I should go check out Kalamazoo comedy. I should go out and see a show. Like, what would you tell people? Like, why do they need to get off their couch, turn off Netflix, and come out? Like, what are they missing out on, Derek Lee Feltner?
I mean, for me,
nothing. He's like, shit. I don't know.
No, I've had nights like where I just went to a show after having like a really shitty day, and you know, laughter is really does heal. As freaking cliche as that sounds, but you know, but yeah, like you said, when a room's full of people and people are laughing together and people are drinking together, it's nice for like that couple of minutes. Everyone's forgetting about what's actually happening, and I don't know, like who hasn't liked to go and have a drink with somebody and their friends, and then they get to go have a good time.
True story.
Laugh.
So what about if somebody in Kalamazoo, because you've performed at all the places, right? So Rupert's is where you got your first shot here at this amazing place, stars on the ceiling, it's guitar,
sometimes on the stage.
True. Hannibal Buress came out to watch a show here.
Yes.
Hung out in the back. So that's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. Bill Burr showed up in Grand Rapids when everybody was up there. So there have been some pretty big names just popping out, showing out, hanging out with local comedians.
We got Huff.
Stuart Huff.
Stuart Huff, he's coming.
Yeah. And who was just here that Bob had it up and under? Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
Stanhope.
I almost said Bob Odenkirk, but
okay.
Similar name, different person.
Okay.
That's Better Call Saul.
Oh yes, but he does.
He did comedy.
And he looks like him.
Yeah.
He does look like him a little. Very loungy looking.
I mean, they're both white, so.
80s loungy looking guys too. Well, at least the character in Better Call Saul and Stanhope's picture.
Yeah.
That is his promo picture. They both look like they stepped out of like a lounge act.
Yeah.
That Wayne Newton is putting on or something.
In Reno.
Yes. Not quite Vegas level, but Reno.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you can make it in Reno.
You can make it in Reno.
Maybe you can make it. Maybe you can make it in Vegas.
Maybe and Fremont.
Yeah.
Fremont Street's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Fremont. So let's talk about the local shows that people can show up to. So Sunday nights here at Rupert's, 9:30. Mm-hmm. Tuesdays at Louis.
Yep.
Same time, roughly 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock at Harvey's.
Yep.
Thursdays at Papa Pete's, and starting in September, Thursdays at Papa Pete's every other Thursday, and then every other Thursday at Shakespeare's Lower Level.
Yep.
All of them kick off around between 9 and 9:30.
Yeah.
Free of charge, $0, 0 cents.
Usually drink specials of some sort.
Oh yeah, here I know on Sundays it's $3.50 pints.
And it's $3 you call it's at Harvey's.
Oh yeah, that's like the best drink special
Grey
in
Goose
town.
for $3.
Yeah, top shelf. Not like Pappy Van Winkle or.
I mean, you can ask for bottom shelf, but you can get top shelf.
And you're paying $3 regardless, so you should drink good.
Yeah.
Like no hangover alcohol.
Yeah.
So when are you performing next and where?
Jesus.
Time to get the comedy calendar out, kids.
Comedy calendar.
The comedy calendar. While he's pulling up his dates, you can look on Facebook.
There's so many.
For Kalamazoo Comedy and like the page, and you can see what's going on there. It's a great place to get going. You'll see all the different shows there too posted, and that way you can reach out to the people that book them, so you can look for time. Joe Williams now hosts. Joe Williams and Sammy McCrory are the hosts of Tuesday Night Comedy at Louis. Sunday night here at Rupert's is Nate Tilka. Harvey Booker is who you contact for booking on Wednesday at Harvey's. And Thursday nights you'd reach out just right through the Papa Pete's comedy page. And of course, Shakespeare's Lower Level Comedy. Bob Fredericks handles all that stuff. So when are you performing next and where?
September 6th, I'm going to be at Harvey's here in town.
Next Wednesday, friends.
Then September 8th, which is a Friday, I'll be performing here at Rupert's for Art Hop.
Nice.
My My friend Andy's film company is putting on a little fundraiser. I'm one of the acts.
What's the fundraiser for?
It's for his production company. They make music videos and movies, and they're raising money for their next project. And if you come out, $1 of every beer sold will go towards their next project. And they'll be talking to people for casting for extras in those projects. So anyone who's ever wanted to get in front of the camera, you could come out to Art Hop between 5 and 8 p.m. That's when that part of the show's going. And then there's live bands after that.
And that's Friday the 8th.
Yeah, so next Friday.
Rupert's Brewhouse, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
And then I'll be at Louie's and Rupert's later this month.
Nice. The 19th, 12th, Louie's?
The 12th at Louie's, and then the 24th here at Rupert's again.
Very cool. Awesome opportunities. How can people get a hold of you? If they want to follow you online, they want to watch your comedy and learn about who you are, they want to turn you into a Netflix special one day, how do they follow you and keep up with you?
I mean, you can go to Facebook and just look up Derek Lee Feltner. That's one way. And then on Instagram, Derek Lee Feltner on Instagram as well. And then Twitter, I don't think I have.
Twitter's a dying medium.
Yeah, let's see.
It's a dying medium, folks.
I've seen a lot of good jokes on Twitter, though. So
true story, because it's so short. It's all kind of like one-liney things.
Derek_Feltner on Twitter.
Feltner.
Yes.
By the way,
Feltner. Barely newer. That was a joke that my dad used to tell anyone he met about us.
So that's your dad doesn't do comedy.
Well, he doesn't do anything. He's dead. So.
Well, he didn't do comedy. Mine's dead too. Mine was dead in 2010.
No, my dad used to tell a lot of stories, and that's where I got probably my way of talking and a lot long-winded type of talks, because he would tell stories and you'd be like, okay, get to it. Like, where's that part that like brings it all together? And you'd get there. You'd have to wait it out.
I've seen my kids look at me like that, and I'm like, I'm that dad. Like, I'm giving way too long of a lecture. I should just get to the point and tell you.
Are we going soon?
Don't do that.
Like,
yeah.
So where's the part where you say, just don't do this again, and we're good?
Yeah, no, I've seen that look in the eyes of my 14-year-old daughter and my 16-year-old son. So I should probably do more comedy about stuff. I know, like how my kids look at me like I'm your dad. That's probably real life for me. I just want to let everybody know that something just caught my attention, and it is a hashtag hip thrust in the back of this. So if you'd like to see hashtag hip thrust, come out to Rupert's. Derek, first, before we wrap stuff up, I gotta ask, like, is there a favorite story or a favorite joke or a favorite something that you think everyone should know, or something people should know about you if they were to come out and watch you?
Yeah, I would say that if you were to come out to a show that I'm on, just give it a chance.
You just made yourself sound so like I'm not funny, so just give it a this guy is hilarious, by the way. If you come out, I can tell you your stomach will hurt a little from laughing. That's true. You didn't even pay me to say it. This show's free. So, and how much are the shows that you're performing at for people to come see you?
They're all free.
Boom. Free 99. Free. $0.
So capital F.
F.
For Feltner.
F for Feltner. Didn't even know her. Boom. That's not even.
But no, like, just, give it a chance. Or give me a break. I don't know.
Just do one of those two things. Listen, if you want to see Derek, make sure you get out during the dates he talked about. Derek Lee Feltner, Feltner on Facebook and Instagram. Derek_Feltner on the Twitters. If you're tweeting.
Oh, and I'm on Snapchat too.
Oh, snap.
I don't really use it that much because I'm still trying to understand it.
Snapchat was invented to share dirty pictures, and now it's just like a marketing thing.
Never happened to me yet. Haven't got to do it.
Well, you're also married, so I mean, but your wife could be on Snapchat. Yeah, but the fear is always that you accidentally add it to your story, and then it's like, oh shit.
Oh wait, what's that? I don't.
That's the thing. If you snap, like if you go to this,
okay.
Like if you snap a.
Hey.
Okay, see this thing right there? That's your story.
The square with the plus?
Yeah, if you click that and then...
Oh, add to your story.
And then it'll add it to, like, and then you just hit the little arrow down there. Oh, you gotta click on your story and then hit the arrow. And now it'll be there for 24 hours. So there you go.
But never forever?
No.
Okay. That's why everyone likes it.
Supposedly. Yeah, that's why when it first came out, it was like, hey, here's my vagina or my boobs or my wiener. And then people were like, hey. And then Snapchat got hacked and people learned that it didn't delete it.
Real quick, this is for anyone that's younger than me, because I'm 34. Guys and gals, I guess, but mostly guys. It's for guys. Stop sending pictures of your dick to a girl,
Derek,
or to me, or to anyone. And if you like somebody, just literally take a chance and just go ask them out to the movies. And if they say no, move the fuck on with your life.
Wait, so you don't send them your...
No.
You don't want to show them your junk?
That's just weak.
But what if they want... What if they're like, hey, I want to see your junk?
You better have some good junk to show off.
Fair. That's fair.
You better get it nice and primed.
Because nobody's like, hey,
yeah,
I want to see that little...
There might be a weird...
That little dude.
There might be... No, there's probably a fetish for that. Nothing but little dicks. Size queen.
Do you know what the worst part is? That now that you brought that up, every bit of me wants to know, like, if that's a real thing, but I don't want to see anybody's dong. I don't want, like, any wangs, but I just want to know if that's real. And now I know if I Google it, it's going to be in my search history. And then I'm going to start seeing ads like, do you have a little wang? Like, here's Ron Jeremy, what he did.
This is what he did. In no way was he born with this.
That's just so disturbing.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But no, seriously, guys, stop doing that. Just, I've talked to coworkers of mine who are women and men, and they're all saying the same thing.
You're tired of seeing wangs?
Just go talk to somebody.
Okay, you got a life lesson.
I just sound I sound way older than I am.
You're like 34.
Yeah.
That's your way.
I mean, I used MySpace Messenger the first time I kind of communicated with my now wife.
Oh well, yeah. How long have you guys been together?
Like 11, 12 years.
Oh yeah, so MySpace was still cool.
Very cool.
I remember when Facebook came out, and I worked at Cars.com, and I was on MySpace, and I was like, the Facebook is not going to be a thing.
Yeah, it's not going to catch on.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Now I've definitely learned to be more ahead on that.
But when it came out, you can only have Facebook if you had a college email address or you were an enrolled student.
Yes.
Because it was called the Facebook.
I started for Harvard.
Yeah.
So I watched The Social Network.
Yeah.
I know what
Zuckerberg went through to.
Yeah, especially as Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Listen, Derek, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, it's been great.
And look forward to seeing your shows later this month. You guys, make sure you come out, catch Derek at Rupert's, at Harvey's, at Louis'. Make sure you catch the shows at Papa Pete's and Shakespeare's as well.
Just go to shows.
Just go. Go to Kalamazoo Comedy. Look it up on Facebook. You'll see all the shows. Every show always posts a list of like who's performing at the shows. And go there, ask who the host is, and if you've never done it before, see if they'll give you a shot.
It's like baseball. People have like their favorite baseball players. It's the same way with comedy. Like, if you start going to shows, you'll start being like, oh, I like that guy, and I like that girl, and I like that guy. Oh, they're playing that. I'm going to go see them.
I think you should start wearing a jersey with a number.
Yeah? I could.
You have your name on the back. And
no, I'm not going to put my...
You're going to be number 1.
No, not putting my name on it.
I'm just saying, that's a jersey.
Well, because I have my name on my guitar strap.
Oh, fair.
I don't want to overuse my name.
I think you should sell T-shirts with your face on it, and your guitar strap like on your face like a headband. It's just and you can put like hashtag hip thrust. Yeah. I think if you print like 10 of them and see how they do.
They'd probably do really terrible.
I would wear one. I would wear it every time I came to watch your show.
Maybe just buy like a bunch of A shirts and just use a marker and write Derek Lee Feltner.
Just draw a picture of your face.
Yeah.
Just draw your face. I think we should do that before your next show. Just get some T-shirts and sketch your face and put $10 for them. I think we could. There's some people would buy it for the novelty.
Yeah. I wonder what's the weirdest novelty you've ever seen any act of any kind have.
I'll tell you. When the Gong Show happened, and this guy was actually good, but it was weird to me. I love magic, but I started to understand why people don't like when comedians do magic. I don't know why. It just strikes me as real, just try hard.
Okay.
And the sad deal is, I sound like a dick when I say that, because I love the talent that goes into it. Like, I love magic. I'm like, holy crap! I know that you're flipping the book over, and that's why the pages are colored, and you flipped it again, and that's why they're blank. But I gotta say, like, it looks cool, but it's not funny to me. It's wow. So the weirdest shtick to me was when the Gong Show, this one really talented magician dude did some cool ass magic, but it was a gong show during a comedy night, so I expected to laugh.
Yeah.
So that was just to me the weirdest. Like I was like, that's kind of weird. I mean, what about you?
I mean, I got gonged that night, so.
I didn't, and I wish I would have, because the critique actually was helpful, but I was like hoping to run off stage.
Yeah. I got gonged, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, but what did you do to get gonged?
I had Sammy tell all my jokes while I sang the song Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley.
That's why. Yes. That's exactly why.
Made it through the whole set before they gonged me. I was really surprised.
You were at the very end, and then
I didn't have any more jokes for her to say, because I just handed her my notebook. I said, "Can you read this?" And she like looked at the first one and started reading. I'm like, "Oh, okay, don't read it anymore." And then we went on stage, and I handed her the notebook. I said, "Just go." And then she started reading my jokes, and then I started singing the song Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley, which I know is a cover. Before anyone gets mad, I know that's Edward. It's Cohen. I got it. But Jeff Buckley made it famous. He made it his own. But Leonard Cohen.
I was thinking Mark Cohen walking in Memphis. I was like, he didn't do that.
No, he did not. But no, I started singing that song, and her reaction was great because she didn't know that was going to happen. And I thought I'd get gonged after like the first 10 seconds, and I think it was my Nicolas Cage joke that got me gonged.
What was the Nicolas Cage joke?
I'd really like to meet Nicolas Cage.
That'll do it.
That's it.
I actually used to love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not so many good movies, but I did love him.
I mean, his life is literally imitating his art now. Because he like gave back his dinosaur skull that's from another country. That's basically National Treasure Part 3 that they haven't made
yet.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Now I want to Google Nicolas Cage. That'll be, at least the ads for that'll be better than a small wiener ad.
It's in my notebook underneath the camera, but I think, here I can just look it up this way.
Oh, look.
Oh, it won't fall.
It
Okay,
won't fall.
So, I think I wrote down how many it is. Nicolas Cage has like 96 film credits.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like Danny Trejo numbers.
Yeah, but they're not, I mean, unlike Trejo, who takes any job. Trejo would take any job.
Sure.
I saw him at a panel at a Comic-Con, and a fan was like, "Hey, why do I always see you in so many movies?" He goes, "I will take any job."
Samuel Jackson said the same thing. As long as they write a big enough check, he'll do it. That's how he ended up on Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah, which is a great movie.
It's wonderful.
And I mean, not all of it's funny, but
you know what? All he had to say was he was tired of those snakes.
Yeah, on that plane.
On that MFing plane.
Yeah.
And I only say that so that we don't get booted off YouTube too, before I can download it and upload it to the other channel later. Yeah. So, good times. Derek, thanks again, man. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
Seriously, thanks so much. You guys come out and check out the shows. Lots of free stuff. Kalamazoo Comedy. Thanks for joining us for Meet the Comic. Sorry about the vertical orientation. If you don't like it, too bad. But when I download and re-upload it,
will it be this way?
I'll just add stuff beside it, like a Derek Lee Feltner posing seductively.
Put a filter on
one side.
Like a filter, like a Snapchat filter?
Yeah, actually, if you just send me 2 cool photos of you, I'll position them beside this, so the whole time it's like that.
All right,
thanks again for tuning in, gang. Go out there and make your night, and hopefully somebody else is amazing.
Bye.